What's cooking, folks? Vermillion Phoenix here, and today we're jumping into some more Orcs Must Die Unchained. This time we're heading into the Temple Graveyard with Temper. So the Temple Graveyard's an interesting map just because there are a number of different unstable rift spawns all over the place. You don't have a character that's particularly mobile, and Temper, even with Happy Place, really isn't a character that I would consider mobile. Happy Place has its issues with combining with other speed boosts, and basically disables them when it's active. So the speed boost that you get from it is actually deceptively not as good as a lot of other things in the game. However, it's really good at restoring your health. That said, maps where you have to travel quite a bit due to unstable rifts and the like actually give him a bit of a problem, as they would any melee character without significant speed boosts. So there are some issues with that. But, of course, everything can be worked around. And so that's basically what we're going to try to do here. These should work out okay. And yeah, we'll go ahead and continue with this. Go ahead and fire it up.
I'll crush him! But I'll play fair, though.
Of course you will. So, first things first.
The spot looks mighty fine.
No, actually I don't want to do that.
This will protect our rift.
Block off this area, specifically because this will force
Keep the rift safe.
everything to essentially hug the walls, or at least
Do something to keep them out.
move in a relatively straightforward line.
Do it. Why can't everyone just be friends? Like this here spot.
And we sold those just so we could come back and block this off.
Trap parts. Not so much using them though.
Either way, most of the enemies will be passing through here and getting shot up by all of the arrow walls that we placed. I'm actually going to remove these back three and move them up front because we can.
There trap, everywhere trap.
And that's how we're starting.
The enemy has opened a minion.
Now the Brimstone can run into some issues here because there are stilt orcs. Of course, that means that the floor spikes
They've broken through a gate.
will have some issues as well. I apologize if I sound like I'm speaking slowly or taking a pause between words. I'm still finally recovering from like the final bits of that virus that I caught about 3 weeks ago, and still a little bit of coughing. Not nearly as much as there was last week, and definitely not as much as when the virus was still fresh, but
No siree.
doing better. That's all I can hope for. Oh yeah, it's already back there. Okay. Just make sure that we keep everybody as on fire as possible. And we're gonna take, I guess, Angerloaf's company again. Now, most of the tier 1 weavers for Temper really don't make that much of a difference until you're either playing with others or you are in Endless. Because in Endless, you have to consider things like dropping aggro to not take a ton of damage, in which case the Art of Zen, or that was not the name of it, Moment of Zen, there we go, for Happy Place is actually really useful. And so this is one of those things that I was talking about where we need to get to an unstable rift relatively quickly, and here's how we're going to do it. You can hop out of the area in the rear there, and I think the traps should be nice enough to finish this guy off. I was wrong though.
That looks like it could hurt somebody. Watch out for this.
So that blocks off that area, so I don't have to worry about anything passing through it at all. And now we have to go trap up the top here. So first we're going to place a guardian through, block that off now.
Enemies are attacking on another front.
Oh, come on. There we go.
I hope no one gets hurt.
Alright, so most of the enemies are just going to be running through and hobbling themselves between the walking space here. The two barricades that I placed over here are basically so that this becomes a single lane right here, and everybody gets to get slowed by the Guardian, which is pretty useful. Now, if you do not have the stable hand, this is one of those situations where you can feel absolutely free to not use the stable hand if you have him, because he doesn't stack properly with happy place, and if you want to just spend your rage, you can. The behavior with the priest is a little inconsistent. Sometimes he will adopt a similar behavior to the buggy bear or bouncer bear, and he will path into enemies that still exist so that he can do his thing and protect them. And sometimes he'll just keep walking until he reaches the rift, at which point you don't have to worry about him for a little while. And luckily, my Guardian buddy took him out. Alright, let's get this slam going. And then we're gonna head up top.
I quit my post only when properly relieved. That goes on the wall, partner. Everyone be careful!
Alright, there we go. Oh, one more of these. Alright, and that really should be the most of this. The last thing that we'll really want to do, just to be safe, is block these two channels off so the enemies only can come through the center here. And then, of course, we'll start building a path where things can get dangerous.
Careful! There, trap, everywhere, trap. Gotta keep the rib safe.
Alright, and then we should be able to tank this guy. Most of his damage is not going to be that bad. And we actually managed to get a kill off immediately on him, which is good. Oh, good stuff. Now without slows, you can run into some issues with kobolds. That should be obvious due to the fact that my Guardian pretty much had to take that one out, or else I would have had quite a few issues, like lost rift points, the worst issue to have. Alright, now we have enemies finally coming through here. So we're going to set up some Bernie stuff. We can do that too.
Gotta do something to keep them out. Let the trap do the killing. I don't have to. They've broken through a gate. Can't everyone just be free?
I don't have enough coin for it. Now I do. Oh. Alright, a little bit of splody. We got a couple of guys coming from the bottom. They're going to make it through the traps that we initially set up down there, but their numbers should be slightly depleted because of it. And I don't think they ever really send anything explosive out there. Everything comes out at the top, which is convenient. I'm pretty much only using Happy's Place for speed whenever there's an instance where I can get a boost from the Stable Hand Guardian, because his speed boost is better. And he doesn't restore health, but that's okay. Alright, and of course these guys want to come out now. Ooh, they got all of the barricades. Not good. Alright, so we have another Dwarf Priest coming. Get this slam out of the way now. Alright, and what you'll see is a couple of gnolls chasing after my guardian there. Bad idea on their part, they're just going to die horribly. Uppercut has way more range than his other attacks. Okay, this area actually needs to be trapped up quite a bit more. And that'll make everything so much better for us. Oh, didn't get there fast enough. Alright, now we just got to finish off these last two. And we're good.
Our enemies, they're breaking through again.
I quit my post
I
only when
always like
properly
making trap
released.
parts. Not so
There we
much
go.
using them, though.
Now, of course, we want to do something to
Like this here spot.
make sure that we're dealing damage to these guys too.
Watch out! An unstable rift is opening. Get to it and destroy
And
it.
it's a good thing that that rift showed up relatively close to us, so we don't have to work too hard. If not, we would have had to burn all of our rage to basically happy dance or happy place our way over there. Now, if you're content with dealing damage, Stomping Mad's probably your best choice here. The Rage of the Ooh.
Just gotta clear my head right quick.
I'm going to take Happier Place just so I can stock that HP and get that movement up when I need it.
And our heroes destroyed the unstable rift, and there was much rejoicing.
Just because I'm not bull rushing a lot right now. And something like Endless, I probably would go for the damage abilities with Temper a bit more. But Happier Place is definitely what I'm looking to use at the moment. Just as a precaution against any of those crazy unstable rifts.
That looks like it could hurt somebody.
Alright, what else are we looking at? Most of the guys coming through here should be essentially dealt with already. Poof. Alright, now we gotta get out of here.
Quit my post only when properly released.
Okay, these guys are actually just about through. Which is the opposite of what we want. Alright, good. Guardian got him. Slam the rest. And we're good to go.
Will be protected.
There's actually a second row of traps that we're actually going to want in that area right above the rift, just north of it. And I should get working on that as a point of safety as soon as this particular wave is done. Eat the hammer.
Boss defeated. Need to find my happy place.
Alright, here we go.
I hope no one gets hurt.
And this is just going to force them to move a bit more. All of the arrow walls I've placed actually have eaten up quite a bit of
They're under attack.
the trap count. And the bad thing here,
Someone heal me.
whoa. Alright, got just enough to get back a bit of HP. That 75% cost reduction on Happy Place pretty much earned me all of my health back for about 25 rage. So you can see how combined with Rage Machine, it basically turns your rage into a hit point battery, which is really, really useful. As long as you can find the time to avoid combat for healing, you'll be great. And if you find trouble avoiding combat for healing, that's sort of when you would consider picking Moment of Zen over some of the other choices. I believe, yep, those Grenadier Gnolls, they're going to run into the rift. Not going to have to worry about them at all. As long as they don't get close enough to detect you, you are fine. We're just going to double roast these guys. A little bit of fire, a little bit of zap zap, all good. Alright, and we're at the end of this. So now our last goal is just to basically make sure that we're hammering these guys as much as we possibly can. Should be it. Yep, there we go. So I personally probably say it'd be a bad idea to overuse arrow walls the way that I spammed them on that map. Just so you guys are aware, you would be better off using something like grinders and using fewer of them to allow you to trap up the later area a little bit better. And that will probably work out significantly better than what I did. The arrow walls really didn't get that much use. But that is going to be the temple graveyard. We can move into the Highlands next, which will be even more of a challenge just because they have a habit of spawning unstable rifts far away from the action. And again, just that need for movement is a bit of a challenge for characters that don't have any movement boosts. So again, we'll probably be taking the stable hand and maybe a teleportation ring, and we'll see how that works out. Either way, thanks as always for tuning in. I hope you guys are doing well, and if you have any questions or comments for me, feel free to drop those beneath the video description and I'll get to them as soon as I have the opportunity. But again, thanks as always, and until next time, have a good one, folks.